Hey, everybody, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 151, and we are here live on YouTube. So if you're joining us in the chat room, thanks so much for joining us. I am joined today by our regular podcast crew. Greg, how's it going? Have you recovered from E3 yet?
Yes, I think I've managed to get everything else set in order. How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. Barry, how's your recovery going?
Too much information overload, so much work done, but I'm so glad that it's over and we can talk about it.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about for sure. And wait, I think I see someone else. Who is? Oh my gosh, Barry, what is going on?
I got a special guest. Look, all right, look, it's after E3. You can let him go, okay? Let him go just for this once. If you want, yeah, okay. Yeah, use the hot poker if you, okay. I think he's free. I think we're good. I think we're good. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Hey, look at that. It's Husson.
Oh, man. Thanks for freeing me. I couldn't. That was terrible, man.
Sorry,
that's what I get for trying to leave the podcast. But
yeah, I have to get better accommodations. It's just, sorry.
Husson, how's it going? It's been a while since we've talked games. It's glad to have you back. How's things been going?
It's been kind of crappy being tied up here and locked up, but at least you were kind enough to let me watch all the E3 festivities, so I'm well versed in what was going on, and I'm excited to discuss it all.
Look, okay, I may capture you, but I'm not a monster.
Fair enough.
Wow. Well, thanks guys for joining us. We got the original crew back together, and we're here to talk about video games, especially E3 and Nintendo and everything. If you are new to the podcast, make sure that you do subscribe so you can catch every new podcast. We record live on YouTube every other week, so you can catch us live, but you can also subscribe on your podcast app of choice, and we're pretty much on every platform out there, so make sure you just search for NintendoFuse and you can subscribe, and so you can get the audio feed right to you, but you can also subscribe right here on YouTube as well, and make sure you hit that bell to be alerted by every new video that we post, including our game chats and so much more. We posted a ton of content this last week over E3 week, and so make sure you go back there and check all that out. We have been just kind of crazy busy with a lot of the E3 content and everything. So we're going to talk a little more about that today, about our E3 experiences and everything. But if you have not checked out all the news recaps and all that stuff, make sure you go and do that right after you get done listening to the podcast. So you can hear a lot more information, details, discussion, and everything about E3. But before we get into any of the news and our recap of E3 and all that stuff, I want to hear what you guys have been playing. So Greg, let's start us off. What you've been playing lately, other than just watching E3? Maybe you picked up a game or two. What you been playing?
What I've actually been playing is still West of Loathing. I've been kind of got sucked into it. I have downloaded I think 3 or 4 games that I still need to start now. So I'll be getting into the games you're looking forward to sections.
Cool. Barry, you got any time to play some games lately?
I haven't had nearly the amount of time I'd like to, thanks to E3, thanks to doing a lot of E3 content for NintendoFuse and life happenings. But I have been playing, finally, since I finished Tropical Freeze, I've been playing Battle Chasers Night War on the Switch, and that is a lot of fun, and I'm hoping to maybe complete it, but it doesn't look like I'm going to before Mario Tennis comes out.
Nice. Husson, I know you've been tied up, but have you been able to wiggle some arms free maybe and play some games on Switch maybe?
Yeah, on the down low, had my little Switch right here. It is portable, which is great, so I can take out little Joy-Cons and have one in each hand. It works fantastic. Before E3, I managed to finally finish the Splatoon 2 single-player campaign. I was trying to get it done, and I managed to. And so now I have the Octo expansion that I just started, and then I've been playing some Fortnite on the Switch as well, which has been fun.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, it's been cool. I've been playing a lot of games, trying to, in between all the E3 coverage and everything. Finally played the fall, and so Barry and I are gonna have a game chat coming up soon, all about the fall. Been playing some Pokemon Quest, some more of that. I've been really pouring into a lot of Earthlock lately, which is a really cool RPG that I'll have a review out pretty soon of that game. So I've been playing a lot of that, and it's been pretty cool because it's not like like a lot of people who listen to the podcast have heard me say that I don't have enough time for like these really, really in-depth RPGs. And Earthlock is kind of not as in-depth as some other RPGs. So I've been able to jump into it, and it's difficult. For sure. The difficulty ramps up, and you have to really know what you're doing and try a couple different ways, and you'll die for sure and everything. But I don't have to manage like so much stuff and find every little thing. So it's a little more adventure in there, which is really drawn me in. And I also finally got around to playing Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection on Switch as well. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of thinking I might return it or trade it in. I'm not. It's really just a collection of those games, and I played a little bit online, but there's not that many people playing, and yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's basically those 12 games I think it is that are on there, but yeah, I think I would be more excited, I think, for if they put the next Street Fighter, like the actual edition on there instead of just the rehashes of the old ones. Like, they're fun, but I don't think it would, for me now, like being far enough away from Street Fighter. I used to be a huge fan. I'm not as into it anymore. This is more for the really diehard fans, I think. So yeah, so that's what I've been playing lately. So there's a lot of news in addition to E3. We're just going to go through this really quickly. And unfortunately, the first news story that we're going to bring up, and I think if I can figure this out, I think I'm going to see if I can share the screen here. Can you guys see this at all?
Yeah, I can see
my
it.
screen.
Yeah.
All right, I think I can present to everyone here. So there's Hyper Beast reported on this story. There was a guy named Mitsu. Mitsu is on Twitter, reported that some fans have been taking these extreme fandoms to a horrible level, and the New York store, the World Store from Nintendo in Rockefeller Center in New York City, had a threat made to them because they took out the the Super Smash Brothers kiosk out of the Nintendo World Store. Like, we're not really sure anything else about what has been going on, but we do know that there was a bomb threat, and they haven't really reported much more about it since then. But this is kind of a horrible, unfortunate thing. Like, have you guys heard about this story, or you got anything? Have you heard anything further about it? And any thoughts about this, Barry? This is really close to where you guys are.
Yeah, this is close to home. In fact, I almost went there this past week for E3 because they did have Smash Brothers playable. But with everything going on and trying to produce so much content, I was just burnt out. I'm like, I just don't want to go. And I think it's sad. I mean, it's really like literally someone pissing in someone else's Cheerios, except people can get hurt. And bomb threats are not a joke. And it is not funny. And in this industry, console wars have been there since the 16-bit era, really. I mean, they've been before, but they haven't really been public since the 16-bit era. And there are fanboys on all sides. And even if you don't like a particular system or you don't like particular players, you don't go to the point of threatening people's lives, employees' lives, and blowing up a building. I mean, that's terrorism at its finest. And it's one thing if you I don't like that system or I don't like that game. Fine, don't play it, but don't blow up people who enjoy it. I mean, there are tons of games I don't like, but I don't want to go kill the fan base of those games. I want them to enjoy it too, because in the end of the day, we're all gamers. The whole point of video games is to have fun, escape the crap of reality, and this is just part of that crap of reality.
Yeah, yeah. Do you guys have any further thoughts, Greg or Hassan, with this?
Not a whole lot. I mean, I think wasn't it like it called in like April, but now it's just being learned now. I thought that's something that I had remembered from hearing about it, but
yeah.
I think I heard something similar, and they said that because I guess as of this point nothing has happened. They thought that the threat was like past, like there wasn't
or false or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it was, and hopefully nothing else happens. I mean, guys, if you're, we don't have a huge, multi-million-dollar or million people fan base out there that listens to our podcast. But for you guys that are, try to do the best you can and sharing love in gaming and that sort of thing, and not keep your other gamer friends from doing stuff like this, because like Barry said and like we all said, the whole idea of games is just to have fun and it's to enjoy this awesome hobby that we all have, and so don't ruin it for the rest of the gamers and for the rest of a lot of people that don't even game. Like, this could have had a horrible effect on more than just gamers, and so hopefully we can do our best to prevent stuff like that from happening. But let's move on to a little more exciting news. As Hassan mentioned, we did have some Fortnite announced at E3 this past week. And if I can pull this up here, let's see if I can show this as well. It looks like there has been an announcement, kind of. There's been a timer that hits this TV screens on Nintendo Switch, and so if you kind of find your way in a home that has a TV, you may see a countdown timer that seems to be pointing to something happening on Tuesday, June 19th, which is tomorrow. If you're listening to this while we're recording, is June 18th. So in a day, we may have an announcement from Epic Games about the Switch version, maybe, of Fortnite. What do you guys think this announcement could be? Any speculation at all? Greg, Hassan, Barry, you guys fans of Fortnite? Have you been speculating at all? I know Hassan's been playing, so maybe we'll go to Hassan first and get any speculation about what this could be.
It's very interesting. I guess I should have paid attention when I was playing today for a while to look for some TVs and see. I think I had heard that there was a countdown, and now there's like skulls that appear on the TV screen or something. So some people thought maybe they posted this countdown early or something like that compared to other versions of the game. And some people are theorizing that it has something to do with like rockets, like some kind of mode involving rockets or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar enough with Fortnite to know what the skull means or any of that kind of stuff, I guess, or what upcoming modes or anything are planned. But that could potentially be interesting. Whatever it is, if that countdown was actually legit, then it would be tomorrow. So very soon, I would imagine we would find out something. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Greg, have you? Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I haven't yet played it yet, but I did download the game. But I did want to say, isn't it obvious that it's a Nintendo Direct? I mean, we're having a podcast tonight. There's a countdown for tomorrow that would indicate a potential Nintendo Direct.
Except Greg, you have to go to the TVs in Fortnite and watch the Nintendo Direct that way.
That's the only way you can watch it.
There's one the week after E3 too, in all seriousness, I'm sure it's some sort of in-game mode or content or something becoming available or something.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Barry, have you been playing Fortnite at all, and got any ideas about this?
Actually, I've downloaded Fortnite, but I have not played it yet. What I'm thinking is, we all know that Nintendo likes to do a particular thing with third party. They like to put exclusive content. This is going to be Waluigi costumes for everybody.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were some costume things with Nintendo, because that's part of Fortnite's thing is all these costumes and everything. So I wouldn't be surprised, actually. I don't know about Waluigi, but
they've done limited time modes too, with the whole Marvel Avengers crossover where you can get the Infinity Gauntlet and become Thanos. So they could totally do some limited edition, some kind of Mario, Zelda, something, related mode.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something along like the Mario or Zelda series to be started off, I would think.
Hence why I said Waluigi. It fits.
There you go. There you go. In preparation for Mario Tennis.
That's right.
There you go.
So moving on, we do have some information about a My Nintendo Awards. I know a lot of you guys have been, we've talked about how, sometimes they've just like not been very good lately, and it's just been like, really, whatever. But I know some of you guys are pretty excited about this Octo expansion and for Splatoon 2, and we do have word that they have a printable Switch box cover featuring Splatoon 2 Octo expansion, and it is available. I know, Barry, you're a big fan of this game. Have you downloaded the and printed off the Octo expansion for your Splatoon 2 box?
I haven't actually played Splatoon 2 yet.
I said Barry, didn't. I meant to say Greg the whole time. But
yeah, you said me.
I did say Barry. My bad. You're on my mind for some reason.
Wow, I'm entitled. While I have the mic, I will say that this is the biggest cock tease that Nintendo has thrown, because this is just like, look, we understand you want physical content, so we're going to almost give it to you. We're going to almost give it to you by not really giving it to you and making you pay us more for a piece of paper. I'm sure the PDF is going to be out there and anyone can print it out. I'm sure GameStop will print out 100 of them and put them up there. But this is just, you look at Xenoblade 2, which is something we're going to talk about soon. That expansion, that content is getting a physical release. That is beautiful. And then you do this. We're not getting a physical release, but we're getting the right at the end of the rope. Like, come on, you want it? Just 30 Nintendo coins, come on. It's just a tease. It's an upsetting tease. That's what it is.
Greg, so who I was actually intending to ask, because I forgot your name for a second, I guess. But Greg, you are a big fan. I know you've been playing it. Is this something you're excited about, or are you kind of like Barry, you're like, whatever?
It probably wouldn't have mattered a whole lot. I mean, I don't even have the physical copy of it, so it's not a reward that I can even utilize. But to Barry's point, I mean, 30 coins is like nothing. You can get that in just signing in for a week or two. I mean, it's like, do you really struggle to get 30 coins? I mean, I know it's your own paper, your own ink, and maybe that costs some money, but I'm glad it's an option as opposed to just all the wallpapers and everything on discounts that we see, though. But
it's not about how much it costs. It's the fact that they went this close to actually doing a physical and they stopped short. It's like we drew up the PDF, we drew up the design, we have it ready, and we're able to print our own cards, but we're not gonna have fun with the picture.
But I mean, they can always reuse this for a special edition or something that includes the Octo expansion on it physically later on.
There'll be a new cover art. They wouldn't want to alienate those that spent the precious 30 coins on this piece of paper.
Oh boy, those 30 coins are just so hard to recover.
I'm just glad I have something to use my coins for. I mean,
true.
It's better than a wallpaper that for my computer that I could easily get just by doing a Google search. So, Hassan, how are you? Have you been playing the Octo expansion, and are you excited about this or anything on My Nintendo?
I played the first level of the Octo expansion, so I want to play some more. I'm definitely excited about it. I've heard a lot of good things, but I have a digital copy of Splatoon 2, along with most of my games being digital. So I appreciate the concept of offering this stuff. The fact that it's available for coins, it's kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, the alternative is what, wallpapers. I actually have gotten a couple wallpapers because there's nothing else to spend it on, and my coins would have expired. So, there's really nothing else to get.
Right. I don't know. You guys are making Barry so excited. The fact that you have digital copies of Splatoon 2. I also have a Splatoon 2 digital copy, but I haven't gotten the Octo expansion. So, I guess I'm somewhere in the middle, maybe.
Talking about another news story. I don't know if this is coming up, but it's all three of your fault. I don't know if you heard about GameStop today. Did you hear the news about GameStop? They're talking with a buyout company, and it's all three of you should feel guilty. All three of you, all of you, for shame.
Is it weird that I feel delighted?
GameStop.
Yeah, it's no loss to me.
And hey, Barry, remember, I've got a few digital hard copies.
Yes. You're
the whole collection,
Me
but
too. I have a few.
Yeah, there we go.
They exist.
Yeah.
Well, Labo kind of doesn't count. You have to get that physical.
Although I'm gonna return this one to GameStop, actually, the Street Fighter one. So.
Well, you might not be able to do that anymore if you guys keep buying digital games. It's all your fault.
GameStop did this themselves with their own practices, though. I have to say that.
This is true.
Yeah, I know that. That's obvious. But still, it's
the meme where you can return all of those games that Steve showed for like $5 is legit.
Oh yeah, they send me emails like, "Oh, did you know you've got like 522 games worth $4.55 if you trade them in right now as an Elite Pro?" Yeah, thanks, GameStop. Thank you.
Yay! That's so exciting.
Mine was really encouraging me to sell my physical copy of Xenoblade back to them. So.
Ooh.
The original one on Wii, not the 3DS version.
That one's worth money, though.
It is.
Picking fights with Barry tonight.
Don't worry, I let my cousin have it. That thoroughly enjoyed it, though. So
there you go. There you go.
You guys have seen what I've done to Hassan. All right, you don't want to push me. My phone is right here. All right?
That's a good point. Hey, we should all just be friends. And speaking of friends. You like that transition there? Pokemon Go has finally announced, like, we knew it was coming. We knew it was sometime coming, but we didn't really know when. And they have officially announced that friends and trading and gifting are finally coming to Pokemon Go. And in order to add a friend, you need to add their trainer code, which sounds so familiar to me with Nintendo being involved, that you have a code that you have to transfer to the other person to finally to become friends. But all these things are coming, friend list, finally trading and gifting. I'm really excited about this. This might be the thing that gets me back into Pokemon Go. What do you guys think about this? Barry, let's start with you.
I'm super excited about this. Unlike you guys, I still play Pokemon Go.
Digital copy?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, yes. That one is. I just did the community day. They just had the community day on Saturday. Took some walk around the pool for a bit and Lavatars. And I think this is smart. We've been wanting this for a long time since it came out. And with Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee around the corner, this is clearly to get people back into that. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see battling soon, because people have wanted that too. And of course, it has a catch. You can't just trade. You have to be best friends and Stardust and all that stuff. But I like it. I like the fact that, like, if you're raiding with your friends, you get an attack boost to make it easier. So I'm excited about things like that. I mean, it's smart. Some people may say a little too late. If Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee wasn't coming out, I would say a little too late. But I think where your stance is, Steve, is the exact stance that they did this update for. Not only for the people who are still playing, but more importantly, for the people that stopped playing, that wanted this, that, hey, maybe now I'll play that. And while I'm playing that, I can take my Pokemon into Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. Okay, well then let's go with that. And it's all genius when it comes to marketing.
Yeah, I wonder actually if they held off on this maybe for Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee for that purpose, maybe, because it doesn't seem like they should have struggled that long to implement this. Maybe they held off on announcing it and implementing it in order to help promote Let's Go. I don't know.
I'm kind of shocked that in the Direct at E3, Reggie did talk about Let's Go. And he did talk about the Pokeball controller. I'm surprised he didn't mention this, because they did talk about Pokemon Go, 2 E3s ago, and they talked about the Pokemon Go Plus and all that. I'm surprised he didn't say, oh yeah, by the way, since you can bring your Pokemon in, we have some exciting news for the Pokemon Go players, and just talk about it there. I mean, I think that would have been a smart thing. It would have taken, 20 seconds to at least brief over, and then more details will follow next week.
Right. Hudson, have you been playing Pokemon Go, and is this exciting to you?
So I guess here's my thing about Pokemon Go, and this may be a little, controversial or mixed with my thoughts on it. I really want to play Pokemon Go, but they continue to make it difficult for me to enjoy it because of the fact that I don't have that many people around me to be able to play play Pokemon Go. And so it's, you know, the raid system and stuff. Like, I think it's great if you have people to play with and you can actually do that. Otherwise, like, I have no hope of getting legendaries. I have no hope of doing any of that. And so like pretty much almost every day, I boot up Pokemon Go and I try and catch Pokemon if I can near me, but there's not really much more I can do. So when it comes to this, I'm excited that we're finally getting trading and all of that. We've been, you know, a lot of people have been wanting that for a long time. But again, the way they're implementing it is you can add people as friends, but a lot of the benefits come when you become best friends, which you have to be able to do raids or certain things together with people. Like, I don't have people physically.
Nope, that's incorrect. You can gain a point every day towards getting to be best friends, and all you have to do is trade with people or gift them, because they say when you spin Pokestops, you'll get special gifts, and you can't open them, but you can give them to other people. You don't have to be physically there. It is the internet. So as long as you have that friend code, so you can spin a Pokestop and say, oh, I got a gift. Hey, Barry, here's a gift. And it boosts stuff up, and I can get a Pokestop and go, all right, here, Hassan, here's a gift. And those have special things in it. So you don't have to be near people.
No, I know you don't have to be near people, but you get to become better friends, and there's more benefits when you are with people. Because the article is talking about when you're doing raids or something with your friends, then I forget, like, there's certain elements of it that there's attack boost. Then also the better friends you are, the less Stardust it is to actually trade some of the Pokemon. So there's a huge incentive to be able to do that, and it becomes very difficult for someone like me where it's overwhelming. And I don't know, the way they're doing it is it just seems a little convoluted to me, whereas, like, it should be very simple where you go on, you trade, do that, but it just makes it more difficult for me to be able to enjoy it, you know, like I want to.
Well, it's Nintendo after all.
You said you didn't have legendaries. Are you getting you get a legendary a week now? I don't know if you've been doing that.
You have to be able to do some of the tasks and stuff, which is also difficult for me to go out and do some of those. So
catch 5 Pokemon, or you know, throw a curveball and stuff like that. There's a ton of easy tasks. You just have to hit a couple Pokestops. All you have to do is one a day.
It's still not. I mean, that's probably one of the better options. The fact that they introduced that as an option, but it still becomes difficult compared to other players. You know, so it's just it's not that I can't do some of the stuff. It's just not as straightforward or as easy as I would like, I guess. And compared to, you know, other players that may have people near you, it just kind of puts me at a disadvantage where I am compared to, you know, what I would like to play it more. I just can't do as much as I would like.
Yeah. It's always been one of those games that is a huge disadvantage. Not necessarily makes it unplayable, but a big disadvantage for people that do not live in urban places and around a bunch of other friends or a bunch of other people that they feel comfortable going out on raids and stuff like that with. And I think that's just the nature of the game in a way, and there's not much you can do about that. But it would be nice if somehow they incorporated some of this. I think maybe they're dipping their toes into a way that they can somehow connect people, even if you live in a rural area where you find maybe one Pokemon every other day, to those people that are, maybe you do have friends that are in some cities and you can connect with them and trade and get some things that you normally can't. I think they're kind of trying to go that direction, but yeah, I think like you said, there's more you can do. Greg, have you been playing it all? I know you're in one of those metro areas, probably tons of Pokemon everywhere you look. Have you still been playing Pokemon Go?
No, actually, I had stopped playing at some point last year. I was getting kind of bored of it. It was just like finding the same Pokemon over and over again, and I was just like, "Is that really all there is to it?" And it just like it was on something to do on my walk from the train station to my office, and it was just, I don't know, felt like the same ones over and over again, and then it kind of lost any magic that it once had. But I do understand that the system they put in place, it's so you don't have like multiple accounts, and then you can't just like move over all your like ones over to one account, and that's why you have to like do all this building and everything like that. I mean, that's a lot of people are asking for this kind of feature in Fire Emblem Heroes where you could just gift whatever character to someone else, and that obviously can really turn the tides of the content that you can use it in, though. So I do understand that's probably why they have these rules and stuff in place where you have to build it, and you can't just give like your legendary Pokemon and trade it for like a Jigglypuff or something. I don't know.
I will say this,
it,
Greg. I was gonna say, if you haven't played in like a year, you should boot it up. There's a ton of new Pokemon they've added, so you shouldn't see the same ones over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Hassan?
I was gonna say the one other thing that I hope we get more clarification on, because Sarah B reported that when you trade your Pokemon, their IVs get re-rolled. And so that's something that, let's say you have a 100% like perfect IV Pokemon, and you want to be able to trade that to somebody or something. That Pokemon might not be perfect anymore. I don't know the reason behind it, or if that's been fully explored. So that's still a little preliminary. But I saw that today from Sarah B, and I was like, okay, I don't understand the reason behind that. But
you know what?
Yeah.
That could work in your favor if you trade crappy ones, but that is still terrible.
Well, yeah, I think it's more meant to trade your ones that you wouldn't want to trade. So if I had just like in Heroes, I wouldn't trade my best hero away just for something that I might not like. So
Really, you wouldn't trade me your best hero.
It works out well for the people that are receiving the crappy ones, because you may not get a crappy one anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder. There's probably some strategic thing about trying to keep.
I'm sure there's a reason. Yeah.
From stacking their deck or something like that. But I guess just keep your good ones or transfer them over to Let's Go. So
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
I think it's more in place to like stop me from opening up a second account and then getting all these legendaries. Like, you know what? I like my other account better because this one was perfect, and then just swapping them all over. So I know that's some of the concern too, is having multiple devices to have multiple accounts.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next story. And this is a pretty simple one, but it's kind of cool. Nintendo is continuing to roll out these competitions, and they have announced that they're going to be partnering with the Disney Channel to release a family contest, a Nintendo Switch Family Showdown contest. And we're still discovering some details about what this is about. We got an email press release from them earlier, and this partnership that basically between the Disney Channel and Nintendo pits families against each other in a fun and friendly competition. On a colorful Nintendo-themed set, families will compete against in a series of challenges in Nintendo Switch games, like searching for collectibles in Super Mario Odyssey, competing against in head-to-head matchups in Mario Tennis Aces, and participating in dance-offs in Just Dance 2018. And there's no purchase necessary to enter. You can enter at NintendoSwitchShowdown.com. And if you get selected, you're going to win a trip for you and your family to Los Angeles to meet your favorite Disney Channel stars and compete in the Nintendo Switch Family Showdown for a chance to win even more prizes. Is this something any of you guys are going to go after to try to compete in the Nintendo Switch Family Showdown?
I would have actually enjoyed that, but my wife does not really care a lot for video games and won't be a very useful partner in that. So, plus our daughter's still kind of young and wouldn't be able to help contribute either way. So, it would be me trying to carry the team, and that wouldn't be very good. I don't think we'd be able to do very good.
That's true.
I would do it. I saw this morning. I was like, I could do this, and then I realized, I don't have kids. So they're probably not going to pick me at all because they want to see kids. And I don't know any of the Disney Channel stars, so it would be nothing to me. So, and then I saw you had to do Just Dance was one of them. I'm like, I'm out. That was the straw.
Yep. Yeah, I think you have to be between 6 and 18 to actually even enter. And I think that's like that, and then it includes your parents, but it's actually kind of open to the younger kids. I'm just reading. So I think we're all out. Actually, none of us qualify for that at all. So sorry, Hassan, I didn't even get a chance to ask you because we're all automatically disqualified. So age discrimination against the Nintendo Switch Family Showdown.
Maybe Jeremy would want to do it.
Oh, that's true. Jeremy, we could get him back on there and see if he's going to compete. That'd be cool.
Hopefully this goes well, and then maybe MTV will do one, and for adults, that could work.
There you go. This does remind me of the Wii Games Summer 2010 that I was a part of as a finalist. And that was really cool because we did have different age groups, and you had your individual people that like came on as just adult teams, but you also had family teams on there as well. That was kind of cool. It was like mom, dad, and two kids, and they were competing against each other, and it was fun to see different categories and everything. And you know, this just seems like a little snippet of what that was like. And but it was cool. It was a very family oriented thing, and Nintendo has always been, you know, very family oriented. And this partnership with Disney, hopefully it will you know, start something else, and we'll see some really cool stuff, like maybe Kingdom Hearts 3 coming to Nintendo Switch. Maybe, I don't know. That's probably a little too far to jump off of, but maybe that's what they're going to announce during this when they didn't air it on TV or something. All right. Well, let's turn our attention to E3. And we spent a lot of last week talking about E3. E3 was Nintendo decided to go ahead and go ahead with their video driven Nintendo Direct. Instead of a live presentation, they've been doing this, I think, for like the last 3, 4, 5 years or something like that now. They kind of pioneered it in a way, to not have a press conference, but to have the Nintendo Direct. And a lot of companies seems like they're actually going that direction. There's a lot of trailer driven content this year. I feel like Sony was just pretty much one trailer after another. Microsoft played a lot of trailers and stuff. So it seems like they're kind of going that direction. They're live streaming a lot of stuff. And then My Nintendo News has actually reported that Nintendo is open to live conferences in future E3s. So, like, even though they kind of seem like they're pioneering and all these other companies are falling behind, are now following up and maybe considering not doing a live conference themselves, Nintendo has stated themselves. Let me get this correct on who actually said this. This was their Charlie Sciabetta. I can't pronounce his name, but he is the Senior Director of Corporate Communications for Nintendo of America. And basically, it was one of those non-answers, but he said they're open to doing whatever they need to for each E3. They reconsider every year what they want to do. So, I mean, this doesn't necessarily say they're definitely doing a live conference next year. It doesn't say they're not, but it does say they're basically considering all options. So just in general, what do you guys think about his response? Does it make sense to you guys? And do you see E3 changing at all after watching all the events and conferences and everything like that this year? Does it make sense to continue with this video-driven content, or does it make sense to kind of go back and have a live event going forward? Greg, what do you think?
I don't know. It made it seem like it was a standard PR speak and like, oh yeah, of course we're open to the show, but I don't think that they are really going to be considering that type of thing after they've been doing this video stuff for as long as you said, like whatever 4 or 5 years, however long it's been. I think they enjoy letting all the fans be able to just watch online and just be able to like cut right into the treehouse to start immediately afterwards. It seems like they are very comfortable continuing this format going forward.
Yeah, it is nice, and he said that as well, like that they are able to like really design what they want to present in the Nintendo Direct. Hassan, do you think though they're going to continue with this, and will other companies follow suit?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Greg. I mean, I don't know that the statement necessarily will give us much indication either way, but it does make sense if you think about it, where they have to look at what their strategy is. Like with the Switch, the way they really unveiled the system was with that small little teaser video, right? And then that kind of got everybody talking. And then they've been doing these directs and that sort of thing to get the information out there. And that's worked really well. In contrast, you had like the Wii U situation where, they did that more formal conference, but they botched that unveil, in terms of their messaging of what the system really was. So I think it just depends on the system. Like, let's say whatever their next system after the Switch is something that, like, I don't know, is a bit more flashy or that makes more sense for like a live conference show unveiling. Maybe they'll do a live thing for that. I think it just depends. But in general, I think they're done pretty well with the format that they've been doing, and I don't think anytime soon they're gonna change it because it's been working. So
yeah, makes sense. Barry, any thoughts about this?
I think Greg hit the nail on the head when he said it's PR speak, and it's exactly what it is. They're not going to come out and say, no, we're going to close the door forever, because it doesn't cost them to say anything that the door is always open. Would I like them to go back? Yes, because while there are, the occasional things like 2008's Wii Music or 2012's Firework finale, you also have things like 2010 Kid Icarus Uprising trailer, and you have, of course, 2004's Twilight Princess reveal. Like, these moments are what makes E3. These unforgettable moments, either the good or the bad. And of course, we want them to have more good than bad, but sometimes they have to have the bad to appreciate the good. And I personally love the live conferences. I think there's a charm to getting out there on stage. Mess ups can happen, and you're putting yourself on the line. When you have something pre-recorded, you mess up and you go, up, cut, no, let's do another take. And I think it loses a lot of its magic. Even like in the later E3 conferences that they've done, the Nintendo Directs, Reggie will come out there and he'll talk, and it's not the same as him coming out on stage and saying, my body is ready, or my name is Reggie, I'm here to, take names. And like there was an energy about Reggie, and that was on stage. And yeah, some other companies are following suit. Square Enix came back this year with a video conference and stuff like that. And sometimes they don't go well, like Sony's presentation was really awkward this year with transitioning theaters. But it's still part of the magic. It's still part of what makes E3. And knowing that we may never get a moment like Konami in 2010, like that's still entertainment just watching it. You don't have to care about the games, just watch the presentation. It's funny. But at the end of the day, they're a company. It's about money. And it's without a doubt cheaper to film a Nintendo Direct than it is to put on a stage show. I think you lose the magic. You don't have that live audience cheering. You don't have the claps. You don't have any of that. And you have to watch live reactions. Plug here, watch our live reactions. But it's still cheaper in the end. And I think they're going to always go with the cheapest option.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, like you guys are saying, I mean, it makes sense for them to stay with the Nintendo Direct kind of style of things. But it is interesting to think about, while the other, these other companies are probably going to end up following suit, I think, more and more as you go forward, to think that maybe Nintendo might turn face and actually go back to a live thing, because they were the first ones to really go out and do video only. And who knows, maybe after all the other companies decide to do that, they're like, oh, you know what? We're not going to be like everybody else. We're going to do a live presentation, or maybe, do something completely different that we've never seen coming.
This was their trick all along, to get everybody to switch over to these direct formats, and they're going back to live conferences and just blow everybody away.
That's right.
Son, was that pun intended? Because that was beautiful.
No, wait, what was the pun? I don't even know that.
You said the plan all along was to have them switch.
Oh, I did not even notice that one.
That's
how much it's just happened. Yes, exactly.
That's always intended.
Barry, he's been locked up for months here. He doesn't.
He's clearly delirious. I promise I will make sure they give you more food and water. I promise.
Oh man. So we have talked, like Barry said, we gave our live reactions while we were watching the Nintendo conference, or Nintendo Direct. So make sure you watch those. We'll put links and everything to this in our show notes and here on YouTube as well later. But make sure you watch our live reactions. Make sure you watch our discussions about each day of E3. We posted all the news, and like we talked about it and discussed it and everything. So instead of doing that all again, we decided to kind of come at E3 2018 in a different way, to kind of talk about our highs and our lows. of E3. And because I liked saying the bad news first, we're going to go the bad news first. So each of us prepared 3 of our top lows and our top highs from E3 2018, and so we're just going to go through one at a time through there. If you put them in an order, I guess order them in whatever way you decided to go them. Mine are completely not in order; they're just at random. But let's start with Greg and just kind of go around. You say one at a time, and we'll eventually get to all of our 3. So, Greg, what was one of your lows of E3 2018?
Well, I actually had mine in an order, so like I guess the one that was this one's kind of was very unexpected. I was really surprised to not hear or see anything for the Yoshi game that they previously announced. So I thought that was kind of a low for me to not even hear anything at all about Yoshi's existence outside of Smash Brothers in his own game. So
yeah. Although it's not unprecedented, but but it was surprising.
It kind of was the same thing with Woolly World. So I was hoping that they was even playable last year. So that's why I was very surprised. So
yeah. Hudson, what was one of your lows?
So that mine is kind of related to what Greg said in terms of like Yoshi being missing and stuff. I think I feel like there could have been a little bit more variety in some of the content that Nintendo was demoing, like especially with the Treehouse. It was like Smash, another game, Smash, maybe some more Smash, and then one other game. Like there wasn't as much, and I feel like if they would have had Yoshi, like everyone was expecting, or something, or if Fire Emblem was this year, then they would have been able to show some of that. So having a bit more of that variety. So the fact that there was no Yoshi in Fire Emblem's 2019, that sort of thing, was a little disappointing.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Barry?
One of my lows was actually Microsoft announcing that they're buying 5 or 4 new studios or 5 studios or whatever. And to me, it's a low because not only I don't think this is the place to announce that, but what they did to Rare, I think they're going to do this again. And it just makes me think, Nintendo, why haven't you gone after Platinum? Why aren't you going after other studios? If Microsoft is going to start buying them up, that means that much less content for the Switch. And Nintendo's got money. This is their only business. Microsoft has other businesses. They really should be, hey, not just make a game for us, but let's come under our wing. Let's work with you. They've done it with Retro. They've done it with Monolith Soft. They should have done it with Rare. I want to see them do that again, and hopefully that happens.
Yeah. We talked a lot about that in our discussion that day, and it was kind of a little sad to see that happen, and wonder if Nintendo's ever going to make some sort of bid like that. One of my lows has been already kind of addressed by you guys, and that was nothing related to Nintendo at all. It was the Sony press conference. I was just saddened by that conference. I mean, they have so many great games. Like, they're one of the few companies that are really still putting. I mean, Nintendo is doing this, especially with Xenoblade and Zelda and stuff like that. But it seemed like they had, one of the only companies that really talked about some awesome, amazing single-player, adventure-driven games, story-driven games. And instead of inspiring me and making me want to boot up my PS4 again, I instead got kind of bored, and they had bad transitions and all that sort of thing. And I was actually just disappointed with Sony. So, that was an unfortunate low of me from 2018 E3. Let's go in reverse order this time. Barry, what was another one of your lows?
It's funny you say that. Sony's press conference was another one of my lows. Like you said, they showed off some really good games, some that got me semi-excited. But the transitional period was just weird. The switching to like a stage show where it was like announcers and we're going to go through some announcements, and then are we ready? Nope, we're not ready. Let's keep talking. Here's some random developers. Like, they were trying to do the Treehouse in the middle of their press conference, and it was just weird. And the musical acts, they didn't gel with me. I understood they were for the atmosphere, but they just seemed out of place. Like, this is E3. Sony is one of those companies that feels so confident behind their presentation that they hosted in movie theaters across the country. And if I bought tickets, I mean, granted it's free, but if I bought tickets to that movie, I would have wanted my money back. Like, the stuff they showed off was pretty neat. Some of the games look great, but the presentation overall was terrible. And in my opinion, was by far the worst overall stage presentation of the E3 this year.
Yeah. Barry? I mean, Hassan, I did it again.
You just had me.
I don't know why.
Mind.
I don't know why I keep referring to you, Barry. Like everybody's name's Barry.
That's
wow.
Okay.
Check behind you.
Barry 1, Barry 2, and Barry 3. All right. Hassan.
Well, I mean, you might as well call me Barry because I'm going to say the same thing. One of my lows was the Sony E3 press conference.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of said it basically, but it was just. I was just like, what is even happening? That giant, like 15, 20-minute transition. I was like, is this really a thing? Like, is this a conference? Is it over? What's going on? It was just really weirdly done. So,
you know what's interesting about that, Hassan? The way it ended on like nothing, like it was like a note. It was no big one more thing. And a lot of people actually thought, are we doing another transition? Like that's what I heard. Like
Right.
People were complaining, like, "Are we doing another transition? What's going on?" And, oh, it's over. What?
Yeah, it was weird. And then the hosts every couple minutes were like, "We're almost ready, guys. We're almost about to transition." Like they were stalling for time, and I was like, "This is just." Did they not know that they were doing this transition and they were just unprepared? I don't know what was happening.
Yeah, it seems like they didn't rehearse anything at all. I'm like, it's not like this is a no-name company. This is Sony, for crying out loud. Like.
Yeah.
One of the tech giants in our world, Sony, that's like not having all the things together. Yeah. So, Greg, you going to follow suit with Sony or something else?
Well, unfortunately, all mine are kind of tied to Nintendo, so I didn't really watch any of the shows, as I've told you guys before. So, my second one is I thought the Nintendo one started off kind of on a weaker note by showing by the Daemon X Machina and the Xenoblade. I felt like they kind of entered in kind of on the weaker side. So, but I was waiting for Barry's reaction. I'm making sure no one can come tie me up because.
Nice. This is funny because I have a feeling that we're coming to our highs pretty soon, and we may see a repeat, but not in the same category. So, you told me you were worried about how Barry was going to react to this.
Yeah.
Well, all you have to do is watch our live reaction to see the difference there.
Like,
it's true.
What? Huh? When are we getting to the Smash Brothers?
Meanwhile, Barry thinks everything was Xenoblade. So,
hey, I was right 50% right there.
So a slow start from Nintendo for you, Greg, huh?
Yeah. That's right. I thought that was kind of a lower point for me.
So let's see. Let's go to. I'm going to follow suit a little bit and not say necessarily that it was a slow start, but we'll talk about our predictions later in just a bit and kind of revisit them a little bit. But one of the big things that we had talked about in our predictions, just in general, was a big surprise. Specifically, I was hoping for from Smash Brothers, but I was just hoping for a gigantic surprise that just came out of nowhere. And we talked about how this was not one of those E3s for Nintendo, and that's always disappointing. I'm a huge surprise person. I love being surprised. My wife knows this about like birthday gifts and Christmas gifts and things like that. I always enjoy not knowing what I'm going to get, so I can be surprised on that. So I'm always going to be someone that's rooting for the surprise. And I really, there were some big announcements from Nintendo, but there wasn't that thing that I go, holy crap, I can't believe they just said that. There was no kind of moment like that for me. And that's always a low. So.
Steve, you're just not a Ridley fan, man.
Well, I mean, we kind of saw it coming. I mean, by this point, if they didn't put Ridley in Smash, then something was going to happen. So let's go to the third one. And again, to switch it up, we're going to go with Hassan first this time.
So mine was more general, I think, for this one, because I was kind of struggling at figuring out another option here. So one of the things that I look for at E3 is like, what are the games that like I really want to get coming out of E3? What are the new announcements, the new games that we didn't know about before E3 that now like I have to buy? There wasn't really much. There was a lot of more of games that have been announced that look cool. There was a lot of new games that looked interesting, but I'm not sure. But I mean, maybe Super Mario Party, because that seemed like a return to form, but there wasn't much that I came out of E3 that was brand new that I was super excited about getting. So that was kind of It was overall a decent E3, but just nothing mind-blowingly interesting, I guess, for me.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go to Barry next.
Mine was, without a doubt, Square Enix. And they tweeted out they're stay tuned for our presentation. We got this big stuff. We're all excited. You know, my wife and I are very big Square Enix fans. We actually met playing Final Fantasy 11. So like we're just like, oh man, Square Enix is going big. She took lunch at a time. We're tweeting it together as you know, or texting each other. You know, as it's going live. We're like, all right, here we go. And then they start, and like 4 of their big announcements were just revealed yesterday from them, like from Microsoft. And I'm like, wait a second, these are like the same trailers we just saw at Microsoft's. Why are they showing them again? And like your big thing was what, the Monster Hunter Final Fantasy 14 crossover? Like that was cool. I'm excited to play it, but where's your big thing? You kept bringing us on like this big thing, and it's 30 minutes. And like that's it. It's like over. Thank you. And I'm like, no Chrono Trigger or something like that coming back. You know, they just remade Secret of Mana. How cool would it be? Like Chrono Trigger's coming back. You know, I'm not a big Final Fantasy VII fan, but I know people have been dying for that remake. Not a word about it. You know, Kingdom Hearts. Here's the same trailer with 3 new scenes. Yay. You know, and it's just they haven't done a conference since 2015. I think that's another thing. And in 2015, they showed off a lot of good stuff. And it was like, oh, they're finally doing 3 years later. They're finally doing another conference. All right. And, you know, the Shadow of the Tomb Raider stuff got my wife really excited. But outside of that, it was just like, what are we doing here? This 30 minutes, I want my 30 minutes back. You didn't show anything to warrant that time. Why'd you even bother? You could have stayed in Microsoft's conference. You could have put anything else in Sony's or Nintendo's. And that was it. You didn't have to have your own conference.
Yeah. Greg?
Well, my number one low-up point I saw was seeing Bomberman as an assist trophy. I had predicted he would be a character in the game, and to see him demoted to only an assist trophy was definitely a low point for me.
I hear you there.
I'm so glad he's in the game, but I would much rather him been an actual character to play as.
Yeah.
You know what the worst part about that? You look at the third-party characters. Konami has 2 characters now. Well, they have 1. They have Snake, and Capcom has 2. Namco has 1, and then you look at Bomberman, and it's like that could have been Konami's second. That showed a form, you know, some strength there, and we got Snake back. Nope, Bomberman.
Yeah. I think we all can share the disappointment of Bomberman, but what can you do? But let's move on to the. Oh wait, I forgot my low. And it's really simple. And like Hassan, I was struggling to come up with the last one. And really, I just came down to the point where I wasn't there. That was a low point for me. I've been to E3 in the past. I've been several times, and the fact that I wasn't there, it was a very much a low point for me. It's like I really wanted to be there, especially now knowing that I have to wait all the way until December to play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I really would have loved to be there on site and played it, got some firsthand experience and all that sort of thing. But to not be there, to not enjoy all the excitement and everything, especially after tasted it before. Greg and I have done E3 before. Miki and I have done it before, and it's so exciting. And just to not be there was sad. But let's stop focusing on the sadness. Let's focus on the highs, because there was a lot of great things from E3 this year. Greg, let's start with you. What was one of your highs for E3 2018?
I'll start with my one that was not like a super high, but the one that was a bronze place worthy, and that was to see the Mario Party return to form. I know it's gotten a lot of slack with 9 and 10 and the stupid little cart thing, but I'm just so glad that they finally listened to the fans and said, like, hey, let's move around separately again. And then they're taking that and combining a lot of sorts of ideas they had in the past with like multiple dice and everything around that. So I did consider that a pretty reasonable high to see that series finally get its return to form.
Cool. Spoiler alert, might be going that direction as well, but we'll go to Hassan first.
That was probably like my 4th option just in case, but I'll go with this other one, which is the fact that like I was excited that Super Smash Brothers, I was expecting all the characters from the Wii U and 3DS games to come back. I did not expect all the characters from all the games to come back. I know that was something that that Barry predicted when I was watching back the stream and stuff. So that was cool that happened. So I'm excited that that's happening. But also, not only that, it seems like most of the stages are coming back. Like every few hours, I'd get a little Game Explain update where they're like, "We found more stages. We found this." So we got like Saffron City from the N64 game back. Like, so I'm really excited about all the returning stages as well. It'd be really cool if they got them all back, but maybe there's a handful like. I don't know, Miiverse maybe is never coming back or something, or I think they could make it work, but maybe for whatever reason, I'm sure there are probably gonna be a handful they might not, but for the most part, looks like they're mostly back in. There's like 70 or 80 something stages at least that we know of so far, which is pretty crazy.
I think 85 last I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. What if they did bring Miiverse as kind of like a museum, Miiverse museum, and we saw some of the best art or something like that? That would be cool.
Yeah, I think they should because it's still part of Nintendo's history, and that's what Smash Brothers is, celebrating Nintendo's history.
Yeah. Barry, what was one of your highs from E3?
We kind of touched upon this before. Unfortunately, on the negative side, but on the positive side was the beginning of Nintendo's press conference, and there's a reason for it. One, obviously, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was my game of the year last year, but not my official balloted game of the year for NintendoFuse, only because I only had 3 days to play it. But it really was, and to see the story content have so much story that they're doing a physical release, and there's that much content, and they've streamlined the game, and they've changed things up, and they're telling the story that a lot of the fans wanted to know. And that was great, the fact that they felt confident enough in Xenoblade to help lead it. But they started off with a real bang because this was at first I thought this was a third-party game because it's made by Marvelous, but it's actually Nintendo published. This is a brand new Nintendo IP, something that people have wanted Nintendo to do for a long time. Give us new IP. We want new IP. Don't keep giving us Mario, Zelda. We want new IP. Well, here it is, starting off the press with a brand new IP. There's a kick-ass RPG with mechs and equipment, and you could like rip arms off of other mechs and use them to beat other enemies or put them on yourself if it's an upgrade. I mean, flying around combat, like this just looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing, like a ton of fun. And I don't know why you're not excited for this, Greg. I mean, this just looks amazing. like Bayonetta looked great, and it is great, and this looks like Bayonetta but mechs. It just looks so good.
Yeah. And I think it was cool to start off with a game that they kept us guessing because we were like, what is this? And is it Xenoblade? Is it something else? Like, what is this? And it was cool to just not start off with, oh look, Mario Tennis Aces, but it was something that grabbed your attention. Yeah. So I will, as I alluded to already, I'm going to say one of my highs was Mario Party. It was a game that I was a little surprised about. Okay, so going back to surprises, it wasn't a huge surprise, didn't blow me out of the water, but it was a small surprise for me, and really excited that they're coming back to form for Mario Party. Like I have really disliked the last couple games and console games at least. I haven't played the handheld ones, and we've talked about this before. Like I just don't feel like it's the kind of Mario Party that I would really, really enjoy long term. And so I've kind of stayed away from the handheld ones, but the last few console ones have just been not good at all. And it's cool to see that they've taken almost like the best of the console versions in the past and even merged it with some of the best aspects of the handheld versions and put it into one again ultimate version similar to Smash Brothers of Mario Party. At least it seems like it. Added in the online component that we've been asking for a while, and it really seems like they heard us as fans for Mario Party, and that was really exciting, and it's really cool that it's coming in just a few months. So. All right, let's move on. Let's again reverse up the order. Barry, what was another one of your highs? 2 words: Devolver Digital. That's all I have to say. That I don't.
Barry say the word digital?
Yes, I did. I did say the word digital. The games themselves look pretty cool, especially Metal Wolf coming out in the States finally. But if you have not watched that conference, you absolutely have to do yourself a favor and watch that conference. That was how to do a conference. It is all jokes. It doesn't take itself seriously. It makes fun of the industry. It has a good time. Like everyone that's there is having a great time. and you could tell they're having a blast making it. They're not forced up there to read awkward scripts. They're just letting everything out. And and it's kind of sad. It's kind of interesting because they kind of inspired Tiny Build. If you watch Tiny Build, they kind of did their own little musical number in making fun of the industry too. And if Devolver Digital wasn't doing it, I would give it to Tiny Build. And Tiny Build's a good second in this case. But if you haven't watched this, you need to. Like, this was one of the best parts of E3 and just awesome. I know, Steve, you hadn't watched it when we last talked. I don't know if you ever went back and watched it. But
I haven't. No, I was actually telling Hudson earlier today that that was one of the things I need to go back and actually watch because I forgot, like in the hustle and bustle of E3 season, I forgot to go back and watch it. So it's something that I need to still do. But I remember you were kind of raving at the time, and interesting that it still has stayed at the top of your rankings for E3 even after you saw everything else.
You know what? If you watch it, I don't know if Hassan or Greg you saw it, but if you watch it, then you will totally understand. Like, you need to. It's only like 20-something minutes. It's not even a big time sink, but just worth it to watch it. It's just awesome.
That's great. Hassan, what was a second one of your highs?
I would say when Ubisoft talked about Starlink Battle for Atlas, because when they first announced that game, I was interested already because. Yeah, I know there's a lot of complaints from people. It's this generic-looking shooter or whatever, and Toys to Life, blah, blah, blah. It's so old now. I'm like, no, you got a spaceship, and you can collect parts and change them and have it on a little Joy-Con grip. I thought that was really cool, and I was excited about it. And then when this trailer happened, I got even more excited. And that was an epic way to reveal it, I thought. Really nicely done by Ubisoft. And, yeah, having Star Fox in the game is super cool. And I like the fact that you can basically play the entire game as Star Fox. There's even special missions with Wolf and stuff too. And so, like, basically it's a new Star Fox game, essentially is what it is. And you can get an R-Wing. I have the whole set pre-ordered because I want my R-Wing and everything. And they brought Miyamoto out. I mean, just the whole unveiling. It was adorable from seeing Miyamoto's reaction and everything there. It was great. Ubisoft, I thought, did a great job with their presentation of Starlink.
Totally agree. Greg, what was number 2 for you?
Number 2 for me definitely had to be Fire Emblem Three Houses reveal. That was really cool to see all the graphics in HD. It's nice to have Fire Emblem returning to a home console setting. So there was a small caveat of the disappointment of waiting till spring 2019, but still willing to look past that. I know it's going to be a quality game, and still definitely looking forward to playing it next year. Cool.
Yep. We all know you're a huge Fire Emblem fan, so similar to Barry's reaction during Xenoblade DLC, we knew that that you were pretty pumped about Fire Emblem for sure. My number 2 is the fact that a little bit of what Hassan has alluded to as well, that there was more emphasis on the Switch from companies like Ubisoft and Bethesda. That was really cool just to see them acknowledging it and bringing more games to it. And I mean, it wasn't like every game they announced, which would have been awesome, but it was a lot more acknowledgement of Nintendo that they're actually in the industry, that they are actually bringing games to their console. And, things like Starlink were just really awesome to just see that there's some more dedicated content. We have the DLC for Mario plus Rabbids. We already knew about for Donkey Kong and everything. That was cool to see them dedicate so much time to that, with bringing the orchestra in and all that sort of stuff. And then their Star Fox reveal was really cool. And just seeing, other companies acknowledge Nintendo exist and bringing their games to their system. Like we still could have more. There's still more room for improvement in that area. But I'm just thinking back to a couple years ago when it was like pretty much the only company that mentioned a Nintendo system in their press event was Nintendo themselves. We've come a long way, so it's exciting to see some positive momentum in Nintendo's direction. So, all right, let's go for number 3. Let's go to Hassan first.
For me, so this was something that it basically leaked ahead of time, but the whole I love when you go to a conference or presentation or something, and the company can say this is going to be available today or available tomorrow. that's always fun because you have something immediate that you can enjoy. So Fortnite for Switch pretty much leaked. We knew it was coming that day, that sort of thing. But also the Splatoon 2 Octo expansion we knew was summer, and I was thinking they might try and do something like early summer, maybe. The fact that when they announced it, it was coming tomorrow, which was really cool. So the fact that we got some games kind of like immediately released, both of which I'm probably going to be spending the summer playing, I think are going to be my main summer games on the Switch. So I'm excited to have some new stuff right away.
Actually, when they showed off Octopath, they showed off the Octo expansion, it still said summer. It wasn't until after the tournament that they dropped it, like the Shadow dropped it, and a lot of people were upset. Like, still summer, even during our live reaction, we're like, summer still. So it's interesting that they kind of pulled the rug out from under us there.
Right. Yeah, I know. Barry was, or Greg. Again, I did it again. Greg was even just like, because he's been really excited about this, right? And you were like, oh man, I wonder when I gotta wait till that game. And all of a sudden, we like hear, oh, it's tomorrow. Hey, you don't have to wait very much longer, Greg.
Yeah, that was a little fishy the way they did that.
There you go.
There you caught one that time.
Caught one. All right. Let's move on to Greg, and let's go for your third one.
It definitely had to be Ridley joining Super Smash Brothers. Being a Metroid fan, playing majority of the games and enjoying the same majority of the games, it's really glad to see Metroid get some more representation in Super Smash Brothers. I really liked how they had Ridley come off as like really gruesome and like totally like kill Mario and was spinning his hat on his finger and everything like that. That was totally in Ridley style kind of type format. You would never see like Bowser or like even Ganondorf do something like that. So I just thought that was a very epic introduction. Glad to see that he's on the Smash Brothers roster after being pleaded for after all these years.
Cool. Yeah. A lot of people are pretty excited about that for sure. Barry, the real Barry, do you want to chime in here for your number 3 high from 2018's E3?
Yeah, mine actually came watching Microsoft's conference. It was like trailer after trailer after trailer, and I was like, this is cool. And I looked down for a second, was checking on something on my phone, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I heard Ring a Bell, and I was like, no, I'm not hearing this song. Like, there's no way. And I look up, and sure enough, there is Tales of Vesperia coming finally with all the Japanese PS3 content, definitive edition. Like, we've been wanting this in the Tales community for so long. Like, no way. And then to find out it's coming to all platforms, including the Switch, portable. Yeah, it's like instant sold for me. Happy they're doing this, especially because in 2015, people asked Bandai Namco, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're totally listening to you guys. We're totally going to do more Western translations." And everyone's like, what about the PS3 content for Tales of Vesperia? And they're like, oh yeah, not that one. So with now, like, after it happened, the Tales of Twitter was like going after them, like, really, not that one? How about that? Like, and they started going back and forth on a 3-year-old tweet, which was really cool, like, to see this happen. But I'm just so excited for this. If you guys haven't played this yet, you need one of the top. Greg, I know you're a big RPG fan. Please, I hope you played at least one Tales of game. But they are like the third tier, like Final Fantasy and then Dragon Quest, and then Tales of in terms of popularity in Japan. And it's such a great series.
Unfortunately, I've not played the series, but I definitely it sounds like
even I've actually played one of them, like a little bit. Tales of Symphonia. I've played a little bit of that, so it's kind of surprising.
There you go. Sans played one of them. Come on.
Has it premiered on Nintendo platform until this game?
Oh, Tales of Symphonia was GameCube. The sequel was on the Wii. Tales of the Abyss is on 3DS. In Japan, Tales of Graces was on the Wii, but we didn't get that here. There were, so in America there were those 3. Oh, and Tales of Fantasia was re-released on the Game Boy Advance. I mean, come on. No excuse, Greg.
Come on, Greg. No excuse. Can't believe you haven't played every one of these games. Yeah.
Steve, you know what? You still need to
sold it.
You sold it, but he didn't really.
Yeah, that was sarcasm.
Not at all. Yes, I'm
assignments.
excited for it, and I think that's one of the cool things that I was excited about when you started talking about it and everything, because it is a series that I haven't really looked into. But the fact that it is coming on Switch, and the fact that a lot of people are really excited and it's coming back and all these different things, is definitely making me interested in it. And like I think I said in our discussion that day, Barry, it's one of the things that I like about the Switch, because these more traditional kind of RPGs and stuff those are the type of games that I could love to take on the go with me, and that very well might be one of the ones that I end up picking up and playing, on a long road trip or a long plane trip or something like that sometime.
You should, especially because it's like the battle system. It's action. It's like still turn-based kind of deal, but it's also action where you can run around the field and attack, hitting the buttons. So it kind of mixes. Just it has to be played to experience. It's such a good game. It's a good series.
Cool. My last one has already been alluded to by you guys, and it's the fact that Smash Brothers is bringing all the their characters back. That was one of the highlights. I mean, we've learned so much about the other stages, as we've said already, since then, but it was just the reason I'm saying this is not only because I'm excited to play all those characters, but I think again it was just similar to what they did with Mario Party. It was a way that it seems like Nintendo's actually listening to their fans, and that was really, really exciting. I mean, the fact that they brought back all these different characters, and they added Ridley, and they added Inklings, and it's like, wow, they've actually listening to us. They didn't listen to us about Bomberman, but that beside the thing, like, it really seems
got
like
Daisy though.
There you go. I know my wife will be excited about Daisy, but yeah, like I was really, really excited to hear that they were listening, because they brought all this back, and we've been talking about how Smash Brothers on Switch should be like an Ultimate Edition, and that's pretty much what they're doing, and that's really cool, and I'm really excited to see what was up next for Smash Brothers. We have a lot of months to go, and a lot more announcements that I know we're going to hear. But it was cool to maybe get one of the biggest out of the way first, or maybe there's some bigger announcements to come that we haven't heard of yet. So maybe the fact that all the characters coming back is not that big. There's some bigger stuff to come, and usually there is. So yeah, we'll see what's on the horizon coming down. So, all right, well, let's move into kind of wrap up our E3 discussion a little bit with revisiting our predictions from our last podcast. We all shared 3 predictions for or hopes. Greg, I know you hit both predictions and hopes, but I know you had a list of predictions there. We had some predictions that we were really hoping for that were going to happen this E3. And let's just, like, when it comes to you, go ahead and feel free to hit all 3 of yours at one time. Kind of give us an update on how you did on your predictions. Let's start with Greg.
I gave myself 1.5 on it. I did say about the Fire Emblem reveal, which obviously was the full point. But I did give myself a half point because they did show Bomberman being in Smash. He's not a playable character, but just seeing that they actually put the consideration to put him in the game and to have him still revealed during E3, I still thought that was worth a half a point. But the other ones, obviously, was pretty far off on them talking about Yoshi, which I thought was kind of a shoo-in, but apparently not. And definitely did not get anything on Metroid Prime 4. And definitely did not see Super Mario Maker Deluxe or Paper Mario. So,
all right. Well, we can't win them all, I guess, Greg. So
yeah.
I didn't do much better. Barry, how were your predictions?
Greg, you did better than I did. I predicted all the characters coming back from Smash Brothers, and I was right there. But that wasn't in my E3 predictions. That was in our Smash predictions. For my E3 predictions, I got a whopping 0. I predicted that my safe bet was that we were going to see Metroid Prime 4. We were going to see it. That was my safe. No. And then I was like, well, let me go for the hopeful, and I went for Retro Studios. No. And then I went for my Grand Slam, please happen, and that would be some old, Bandai game coming out, like Baten Kaitos coming back, or Xenosaga trilogy coming back. And while I did get Tales of Vesperia, that wasn't exactly what I was predicting. And so no, all Nintendo and Retro and Bandai all let me down on that. I did terrible.
Yeah, I'm feeling you, Barry. I'm feeling you. Hassan, you weren't with us to join us in our predictions, but we'll take your word for it. Did you have any predictions that actually did come through?
So, well, the morning of, I actually tweeted a couple general thoughts or sort of predictions, I guess. The main one, obviously, being the one that I've spouted like every single podcast for forever, which is Super Smash Bros. Coming in September, which I was wrong about. And so I was so disappointed when that happened. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's still 2018, but it's just December. And I guess in the end it makes sense. Where they probably want to work out the kinks of the online service, that sort of thing. But I did a couple other things that I sort of tweeted. There was actually a fairly credible rumor that seemed to be going around about some Smash Brothers stuff, which I still don't know if it's necessarily true or they just guessed some stuff right. But they mentioned that Snake would be back, Ice Climbers would be back, and that Ridley would be playable. So I wasn't super surprised by the Ridley reveal because of that. But they also did mention another character. I don't know if I should say it or not because they haven't been revealed. But so they claimed Simon Belmont supposedly. So I don't know if that will happen at some point. But they guessed Ridley and Ice Climbers and Snake, which is not that much of a stretch either. So we'll have to wait and see. But I thought we'd get Metroid Prime Trilogy this year. That didn't happen. I thought we'd get a teaser for Star Fox Grand Prix, which was the rumored thing from Retro Studios. Didn't happen. I thought we'd see Yoshi and Fire Emblem this fall. Didn't happen. I thought we would not see an Animal Crossing, which was correct. And then I thought, that maybe they'd do a surprise thing and they'd release Mother 3 finally on Switch and 3DS eShop, and that didn't happen. That was kind of my out there Nintendo going all out, and so yeah.
That's a real case of Nintendo listening to the fans. You're talking about that. Let's see if Mother 3 or a Mother Collection, all 3 games, on the Switch. That would be a real testament to them actually listening to us.
Yeah. I mean, they clearly know because Reggie addresses it every time. Oh yeah, what's Mother 3? They know. He knows for sure. They know.
Well, how about this?
I know. One of these days, that's what he's going to do. One of these days. So yeah, as I've already said, my predictions were shot in the dark. They just not happen as well. I predicted. I guess I'll give myself kind of like a quarter of a point for a big Smash character reveal. I guess Ridley is kind of along those lines. But I mean, we knew it was inevitably going to happen. It was exciting when it happened. What's that?
So vague, like a big Smash reveal, like pretty safe bet there,
And what we really talked about was something not like Ridley. We talked about something like when Mega Man was announced, not like Wii Fit Trainer or something like that. And so that's why I'm kind of only giving myself like a quarter of a point, maybe a tenth of a point for Ridley, because it really wasn't what we were really talking about. And we'd even thought about like Spyro or something like that, because we thought that like there was going to be maybe like the Spyro trilogy, announced and all this sort of thing. It was kind of rumored about it and everything. So that I don't really consider that happening. I also really just threw this out there that the mini version of the Switch was actually going to be announced. Of course, that was not announced at all. And the one that I did get accurate, which was kind of a safe one, was that they'd only talk about games, nothing about Netflix, YouTube, or anything like that at all. They just focused on games. And so there's a solid point for my safe bet for my E3 predictions. So I guess I'll get one, but it was my safe one. So yeah.
They did talk about Netflix, but it was after the fact.
Right. Should have left it out. There we go. Taking my point. Don't steal it from me, Barry.
I'm Greg. What are you talking about?
You're all 3, Barry. What are you talking about? All right. So let's wrap up this Nintendo E3 discussion with a quick round the horn. What kind of rating would you give E3, Nintendo at E3 this year. We're just going to go with the simple grading system. So like A through F. I guess you can add it in pluses and minuses if you feel like it. So just kind of how do you think Nintendo did at E3 2018, considering all that they showed off, all that they had available, their Nintendo Direct, the Treehouse, the show floor, everything included what you saw of Nintendo. What do you think of their showing this year? Greg, let's go for you first.
I gave him a B+. I thought it was pretty good. Obviously, there wasn't any like huge surprises, as you had alluded as one of the low points. I didn't really consider that easily into my initial thoughts, but yeah, that's probably why it wasn't even an A range, because there wasn't like anything out of this world that just blew everybody away that would warrant some sort of major like audience satisfaction type thing. Because even like the Nintendo World had that Metroid Prime 4 reveal last year, and then you could see how excited and happy everyone was there. But I didn't feel like there was any announcement that came out that did this year. So,
all right, Barry, how about you?
When it comes to the games they showed off, I give them an A. When it comes to the presentation and the big surprises, I give them a C+. So on average, I'm also going to sit in the B to B+ range. They brought some really great games and some games I'm personally very excited for. There were no Christmas morning presents. No, some people, really inevitable, and like something new Star Fox or Earthbound or something that would be like, oh my god, I totally didn't see that. And Nintendo's the king of giving us what we want before we know we want it. And we've all told Nintendo what we want, and maybe they're starting to listen, maybe not, but they definitely didn't show off anything. Like Daemon X Machina was awesome, but I think that the reason it didn't hit the chords with some people is because they were expecting something else. It's kind of like getting a juicy cheeseburger, like with loaded everything you want, and it tastes heavenly, but you really wanted that porterhouse steak. And so that cheeseburger just doesn't do it the same way as a porterhouse that you've been salivating over. And I think that's unfortunate. And I think that's the fault of E3 hype, is that people were like, oh my god, we're going to do this, and we're guilty of it too. We're all part of that. And it's almost a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of deal. They either really have to go big or go home every single year, and that's an impossibility. And you factor in last year's with Metroid and Pokemon and Mario Odyssey's wonderful trailer and Xenoblade, and it's impossible to replicate 2017 into 2018. Like 2017 was just such a banner year, so you need to have those lows with the highs. So I said with a B to B+.
All right, so far we got a B+ and a B to B+. Hassan, what do you think?
Kind of sticking in that range. I think I was going to say a B+. I think overall it was a solid showing. I think I absolutely love Super Smash Brothers, so I was fine with finding out every little minute detail of little minor sound effect differences. Like, I was loving that. That was great. I just wish there was a little bit more variety in the content in terms of, like Yoshi, which we've been expecting, or something like kind of like throw in a little bit more to kind of get us, excited about more types of content. Super Mario Party was nice to finally see that return to form. Stuff like Daemon X Machina looked interesting, but we don't know as much about it. It's 2019, that sort of thing. So it was nice to get some of that, but would have been nice to have that little bit more to push it over to an A.
Yeah. And I would agree with you guys. I was going to say B. I think it's a pretty solid B. Like you've all said, they're focusing on Smash Brothers. We learned a lot about that. Some cool announcements about Smash Brothers with all the characters coming back, and when seeing all these different stages and a lot of the things that we've talked about already, that was really awesome. Seeing new games like Daemon X Machina and the Xenoblade DLC and Fire Emblem and Super Mario Party, and really cool announcements. Seeing more about Let's Go Pokemon, the Let's Go Pokemon games, and it's easy for me to say, and also learning more about some of those games in the Treehouse was really cool. How they did dive into some of those other ones, and it was cool to was it Starlink that I really didn't know much about. It was cool that they announced Star Fox, but actually getting to see it in person and see how they play it and everything. It was really cool to be able to see all that stuff. But it would have been cool, like as you said earlier, Hassan, to see more varied content during that as well. So they focused a lot on Smash Brothers, which makes sense. Like a couple years ago when they focused a lot on Breath of the Wild. But it would have been cool to vary up that content a little more than they did to push it up in the A range. But it was pretty solid though. So overall, I was pretty pleased with E3. And like you said, Barry, it's hard to follow up last year. It's really difficult when you have some big announcements like that.
It's interesting. You mentioned Starlink, and while you were saying, I was thinking to myself, if they played that Fox trailer, just the Fox trailer of Starlink at Nintendo's show, I think it would have gotten 100 times more negative reaction than the positive. I think people would have been like, new Star Fox, oh, what's this Starlink? No, I want a new Star Fox, as opposed to the way they showed it off as Starlink, where we weren't expecting it. Then, whoa, wait, Star Fox is here? Like the positive reaction. And it's so interesting how important that actual presentation is, and the impossible expectations that people put on Nintendo to pull off. And I really think that if they just shifted it to that day as just a trailer, I think it would have been bashed all over the internet.
Yeah.
See if Song agreeing with me.
Yeah, I could totally see that too, because I think, it was introduced as another little surprise in Starlink, that sort of thing. But, everybody's been wanting another Star Fox and that sort of thing. And then there are the rumors of the Star Fox Grand Prix. So then to see that classic Star Fox, people are like, oh my gosh, we're actually getting classic Star Fox. And then no. So all the context behind it all really shapes how the announcements are like kind of presented to everyone, for sure.
For sure. And it was cool to let Nintendo let Ubisoft have that moment. And that was a cool moment for them, that it would have been kind of potentially not cool for Nintendo, and they let them have it. Maybe they foresaw that, or maybe they just decided it and it happened to be a happy accident. Who knows? But it was cool I think that was a really good move as well, to be able to let Ubisoft really have that moment and save Nintendo from a potentially bad moment. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up with all of that. We've kind of went on for a little longer, so we'll kind of save our upcoming releases and listener questions and things like that for our next podcast, which will be in 2 weeks from today. But if you do want to submit a question for that podcast, make sure you send it in to podcast@nintendofuse.com. That's podcast@nintendofuse.com. And send any question you want us to address in a future podcast. We would love to get it. You can also contact us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. We're just @NintendoFuse. And that's the best way to get in contact with us if you would like to throw a question our way for a podcast, or maybe just contact us about, a game that's coming out, or, you want to know a little more information about some different news that we've talked about, or something we've discussed in a podcast. Make sure you reach out to us, and we'd love to interact with you. That's one of the coolest things for us, is to interact with our community here on YouTube and all our social media and our website at NintendoFuse.com. Thanks, guys, for tuning in so much. And thanks to you guys for joining me today. Thanks, Greg. And thanks, Barry. Hassan, tell us a little bit about what you've been up to. I mean, you just received something big recently. So now that you're no longer a regular on the podcast, we got to let you plug some stuff here.
Yeah.
So what was this big announcement that you just had, huh?
Just grab this shiny little silver thing right here for those watching the video podcast. Now I got a silver play button, or the silver creator award that YouTube has, basically for hitting 100,000 subscribers. So thank you to everybody that has subscribed and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's kind of what I've sort of been doing as well. So if anybody wants to check out youtube.com/theworldofha, it's out there.
Cool.
No, I want everybody listening to go and subscribe to Hassan, first off, because his content is awesome and you should support him. But I do want you to go there, and I want you to fill his comments, every single video, fill his comment section with "Come back to NintendoFuse Podcast." Every single person, you do that. Let's start a chant and a movement. So do that, please.
Well, if you untie me sometimes, Barry, then maybe I'll pop back in.
I
every
will
now and
untie
then,
you every other Monday so that you can join us. I guarantee you, every other Monday I will untie you.
Oh, that sounds like a deal to me. The power of Barry and the YouTube comments. So there's none that can match. So
even though we hit our like goal that I set up and to keep them on board.
That's true. We need to do that. 30,000 likes. No, just 5 likes and Hudson stays.
Yeah,
I think that's gonna be possible. 5 likes. That's all we need. Yep, we worked it out.
Not counting any of you. You guys can't like it.
Okay, I won't like it. But I can't guarantee you my wife won't.
There you go. There you go. We all have wives. Hassan, thanks again for being our guest on episode 151 of NintendoFuse Podcast. Greg, what's the next couple days of gaming looking like for you? You going to be plugging away at Mega Man again, or what have you been doing?
Well, I got Fortnite to check out. I got the Octo expansion to start playing. Still got to finish West of Loathing. Still kind of like a backlog coming here. And Barry will be happy to know I did purchase Mario and Rabbids, the gold edition. That includes the Donkey Kong thing. So I have that as well to join the fray. I'd like to finish Fire Emblem Warriors. So there's just so much to play, not enough time to play it all.
You're pretty busy. Barry, what's the next few days looking like, other than, continuing with your museum there at your house? What else are you going to be doing? Are you there?
Actually, first off,
lost him.
Nope.
Are you there?
No, I'm here. Greg, first off, definitely finished West of Loathing because we have a game chat coming up, and we also have an industry talk coming up with the developers of that game.
Yes,
so stay tuned for that.
Priority.
I'm going to be focusing on Battle Chasers Night War. I am really enjoying it, and I do want to finish. Mario Tennis comes out soon, and I do want to play that. And then, of course, Octopath is right after. And I haven't done the demo yet. I'm going to wait to do that demo closer to release because I know if I do it now, it's just going to make the remaining month terrible. But I have been slaving away and just working on more shelves. It's kind of hard to see, but I've been doing more graph. It never ends. It never ends. Housework never ends,
Yeah, yeah. And I did finish the fall, so look for Barry and I's and our game chat about that coming up hopefully very, very soon. And we still got to record that and put that up hopefully within the next several days. And as well, look for my review from Earthlock that I've been really enjoying that game. And so those spoiler alert, I do enjoy it, but I'll tell you a little more about my experience in that review coming up pretty soon. Hassan, anything like big that you're like excited about that you should promote while you get the chance about your channel maybe?
I guess nothing specifically with the channel, but I do want to do more live gaming videos and that sort of thing. So it'd be cool to have you guys all hop on and stuff and do some live gameplay. Maybe we can do some, if you guys all have Fortnite or something, join up as a squad and hit up Fortnite together or something, or Splatoon, whatever it is. Those are really the 2 games I'll be doing a lot of this summer. So lots of multiplayer gaming, which should be fun.
Cool.
I'll boot up Fortnite for that.
There you go. I've actually not played Fortnite in a squad at all. I've always played solo, so it'd be fun to play with a squad. And it
does have voice chat.
Did they actually turn it on yet?
I haven't tried it myself, but I heard it's on. I think it's on.
Okay.
Where you can plug in the mic and stuff and into the Switch and do it. So portable, at least you'll have the voice chat.
Yeah, I knew that it was coming, and I tried it the other day, and it wasn't working yet. But that doesn't mean it hasn't. Yeah, it's been a few days since I've tried it. So then maybe they've turned it on, or maybe that's the thing that's coming tomorrow.
Maybe,
who knows?
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thanks again for everybody for checking us out and for subscribing and for sharing this with other people. And we would love to know your comments. What did you think about E3? Throw them down in the comments. Share this with friends, and that would be awesome for you to do that. Again, thanks again for tuning in, and make sure you send us a question at podcast@nintendofuse.com. And we'll see you in 2 weeks with episode 152. But until then, enjoy all your Nintendo games, and we'll all be looking forward to some more games coming up in the next few weeks and months. Thanks to E3. So thanks, guys.
I gotta make a call now. I got Hazan has to get tied up again.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Quick, I better run away.
Bye.
Take care.